Good afternoon, meteorologist Bob here for you with today's tropical update for Sunday, August 26, 2012. Tropical Storm Isaac is the talk of the Gulf Coast states today. This is as of 2 p.m. Maximum sustained wind 60, west-northwest 18, location 23.9 north, 81 west. Center of circulation now, and I'll show you here on the radar, basically right over Key West as we speak. Here's the official forecast track by the National Hurricane Center. What we saw starting yesterday was the beginning of the westward shift in the models. As you remember, we kind of started off the day out here. Everybody was thinking Western Panhandle. I was still thinking Apalachicola. Since then, we have shifted all the way to Mississippi, and the cone has now shifted from about the Destin area, almost near Panama City, all the way west now of New Orleans. So a shift in the track and in the models. I'll show you some of the models here in a minute. There's still a considerable spread in the models, and you can see how wide this cone is right here. And again, they always say don't focus on the center line. For this system, it couldn't be more true. Do not focus on the center line because there is still a lot of uncertainty in the extended forecast here. And you can see how large the tropical storm watch is right now and how large the cone is. So if you're in the cone of uncertainty or you're in tropical storm watch area, you should be taking the necessary precautions right now for a possible hurricane. Again, it's going to approach the Gulf Coast. It's probably going to be late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, probably more like Tuesday night. And again, it'll depend on what kind of track it takes. If it takes more of a northern track to the cone, it'll get to the coast quicker. If it takes more of a western move, it'll be a little later. So somewhere in that area, and that's what we have today. We have hurricane watches up for east of Morgan City, Louisiana, all the way to Indian Pass, Florida. These will most likely be changed to hurricane warnings somewhere in this area. As of the 5 p.m. advisory, I would expect that to happen. These hurricane warnings here are still going on in South Florida and the Keys. I haven't seen any hurricane gusts so far. We've gotten close. I think we've seen some 65, 67 mile per hour gusts near Fort Lauderdale today. The last few gusts that I've seen recently have been in that 40, 50 mile per hour range. And we'll just have to see what happens down there as far as wind gusts go. All right, latest visible satellite on Isaac, starting to build an eye wall, especially on the western half. The east, we've gotten, some of this dry air has kind of gotten trained into the circulation here today. It's come up from, we had this upper level low out here that's starting to move away now. So it's still trying to work a little bit of that dry air out of it, starting to build that western eye wall here. And as this moves away from Key West and gets separation from Cuba, I expect some pretty good strengthening to start occurring here in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is really going to be the key, is how quickly Isaac can get that eye established and its inner core established. And that'll let us know how strong the system will be as it gets up towards the Gulf Coast. Some of the unknowns right now, I would say, this thing could be anywhere from a Category 2 to a Category 3 at landfall. That's even my thinking right now, somewhere in that range. But again, it's very hard. The official forecast by National Hurricane Center has Category 2. I always say prepare for one category higher, so you should be preparing for a Category 3. And that's where I stand on that. So intensity forecasting is tough, but one thing we know for sure right now, conditions in the Gulf of Mexico are pretty ripe for this thing to strengthen right now. It's going to be in the low shear environment, outflows looking well established. I think once we get away from Cuba, get rid of some of this dry air, it should be all systems go for Isaac to strengthen. Looking at the water vapor loop, this is what I was saying, there's this upper level low, but it's starting to lose its grip now on Isaac. And a lot of that dry air that was being pumped into here earlier today is starting to lessen, and we see that. And we see the outflow expanding to the west here. So those are all good good signs that Isaac would be strengthening. Something we really don't want to see, but you know, it is what it is right now. Looking at the radar, and here's the eye right here. It's starting to move. Not a total eye. I mean, it's definitely has the western eye wall going for it. The east is still being hampered a little bit by dry air and a little bit by Cuba. You see this kind of, we've gotten dry slotted here a little bit across extreme southeastern Florida right now. These are some of those rain bands coming in. You know, basically we are from the south of from the south of Tampa to Orlando line to the Cape is where the heaviest rainfall is right now. And right in here, these rain bands here across southeastern and southern Florida here, this is where we're seeing those 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts here and some of these rain bands coming in here. So there's the eye moving right over Key West right now, and that's going to move just like this out into the Gulf. Gulf of Mexico, again, we can see that west, you know, you see this nice outflow starting to really expand here in the Gulf. And Isaac's going to be a pretty large system as well. So again, don't focus on that exact center line there. But you can see it's going to, conditions are very ripe here for this system to strengthen here in the Eastern Gulf. And again, where's Isaac going? This is where we start looking and saying, God, what's going to happen here? We've seen the models really all over the place. I'll show you the spread here in a minute. The spread's gotten a little better. You know, still a little bit of a low confidence this close to landfall. We wish the models were really tight, but they're just not with this system right now. Again, here's our departing trough here. You could see, if you look at the push here of clouds, you could see here's that high pressure building into the west here. That's going to push Isaac west-northwest. Then we look at this trough coming down here across the Great Lakes. This is where the models are having a hard time. Some are saying Isaac's not going to get recurved by this trough. It's going to miss it and just come west and then eventually out. But then now we still have a few, including the Euro, that say, no, it's not going to go that far west. It is going to catch the trough and curve up just like this and then that way. So we got this or this. So you pick your poison. Which one do you want? Which one do you think? So I'm going to show you that. Right now, my thinking is this is going to come pretty close to New Orleans. Right, currently the National Hurricane Center track is on Mississippi. I would leave it there. I'll show you what they might do at 5 o'clock. They might shift it a little west, but I mean, out of respect for the Euro, and I believe the UK Met model's out this way too, you still kind of have to split the difference. So we'll see. It's a tough forecast right now. And then here's the models. This is what I wanted to show you. So here we go. We have Canadian yellow, UK Met blue, and then I'm going to show you the Euro in a minute. It's not on here, but the Euro's right here, basically with the UK Met model. So we got that out here. This is the National Hurricane Center official forecast track. This was as of 11 a.m. Consensus is now here. So consensus is basically to New Orleans. And you see the rest of these models out here. We have the GFDL way out west. We have the HWRF. Now wait till you see this model run. It's probably the scariest for New Orleans right now. And let's hope to God this doesn't happen, but I'll show you that in a minute here. And then we have the rest of the BAM suite models and then a lot of the GFS ensemble models. So consensus is right here. So currently the National Hurricane Center is east of consensus. I would expect them to move this track a little west at 5 p.m. That's usually what they do. They usually go pretty close to consensus. Or they may just leave it out of respect for the Euro. And then we have the UK Met out here as well. Really have to see what they do. It's a tough call. I wouldn't know what kind of call to make. I mean, right now, if I was the forecaster at the National Hurricane Center and my track right now would be Mississippi. I would kind of leave it where it's at. Let's just leave it where it's at. We got the hurricane watches up. I just really can't see this going this far west. Like if I just cut all this out here, I just can't see that. You know, we could see this and we could see this. So let's split the difference. That's where I would be right now, and that's what I'm thinking. All right, Euro model, here we go. Courtesy of Weather Bell. Great model products here. And this is the Euro, and you see the Euro right near Mobile, Pensacola region, 950 millibars at landfall. So that's where the euro is. Euro did not change any from last night's run. So the euro, one thing about the models, they're spread, but they've become consistent in their own way. The euro's consistently east now, and the GFS is consistently west now. So yeah, they're not tight, but each one of them is consistent in their own way. Here's the scary HWRF 12Z model run. 930 millibars heading right like this. And you know what that would do to New Orleans. I don't even have to tell you. So that's the 12Z run. Take it as you may, but that's what it's showing right now. Our friend the GFS, and here you'll see that western track that it's been very consistent with now for a good 24 hours or so, almost to Texas, and then finally lifts out. Last but not least, this is the next 3 days of a QPF of the precipitation. Just want to show you for Florida, basically south of Orlando, or probably south of Daytona, will be the heaviest rainfall. Good news for Northeast Florida here, where a lot of our flooding woes were from Debbie. We will not be getting the heaviest rainfall with Isaac, so that's good news for our rivers. Heaviest rainfall will be west and south, and then of course this will push westward as we go through the week here. So that's it for my update today. I will have another update for you guys tomorrow evening. There will be no updates. You could still follow me on Facebook, Robert Acanfrio. I do updates there constantly about Isaac, and then I'm also on weatherbunker.com. I throw out little updates here and there on Isaac as well. Have a good day and stay safe.